cents per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,874. Antiwar.com reports a new report from the Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction warns that U.S. efforts to bring Afghan troops to the United States for training has been greatly undermined by the unacceptably high number of Afghan troops who run away as soon as they arrive. Some 13% of Afghan trainees go missing, with the majority of them junior officers. 152 Afghan trainees have gone AWOL in the course of this operation, and more than half, 83 of them, have never been found. The Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction warns the missing troops are bad for morale of the troops that stay for the training and also for the Afghan military units inside Afghanistan. He also warned the number may continue to rise as mounting violence makes it easier for Afghans to seek asylum. Many of the asylum seekers are fleeing into Canada, believing it to be a safe place to seek sanctuary from being arrested for fleeing from the military. Since many are able to credibly cite safety concerns, including Taliban threats to relatives, such claims of sanctuary have been pretty successful. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a California judge tossed out a $417 million verdict against Johnson & Johnson, the second verdict involving its baby powder that was reversed this week. In a 51-page ruling late Friday, California Superior Court Judge Marin Nelson granted a new trial after finding serious misconduct on the part of the jury, insufficient evidence, and excessive damages. In California, 2 months ago, a jury from Los Angeles awarded Eva Echevarria $70 million in compensatory damages and $347 million in punitive damages, the largest verdict against the company to date. Echevarria, who started using the talc powder product when she was 11, was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2007. Judge Nelson said that under the law, the parent company, which is a legally separate entity from its subsidiary, cannot be held legally liable for non-disclosures for a product it does not manufacture or market. The judge also said there was no convincing evidence of any of the Johnson & Johnson companies acted with malice and should have to pay punitive damages. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Saturday that subject to receipt of further information, he planned to allow the opening of long secret files on the November 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy, due to be released next week. Politico magazine earlier quoted Trump administration and other U.S. government officials as saying the president would almost certainly block the release of information from some of the thousands of classified files, which the U.S. National Archives is scheduled to make public by an October 26th deadline. Trump said on a tweet, subject to the receipt of further information, I will be allowing, as president, the long blocked and classified JFK files to be opened. Thousands of books, articles, TV shows, movies, and documentaries have been produced about the assassination, and surveys have shown a majority of Americans still distrust official evidence pointing to Lee Harvey Oswald as the sole shooter. Over the years, the National Archives has released most documents related to the assassination, but a final batch remains, amounting to tens of thousands of pages, and only the president has authority to decide whether some should continue to be withheld or released in redacted form. The Washington Post and other media have quoted officials as saying that government agencies have lobbied Trump to withhold some of the documents, arguing that they could expose relatively recent intelligence and law enforcement operations. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
In a dramatic scene last night, a coalition of the nation's damaged women staged a drunken, tear-soaked march on the Capitol just after 2 a.m. Jane Carmichael has more.
Thank you, Brooke. The damaged women began their protest yesterday afternoon, marching on the National Mall at about 4 p.m., and then marching away furious, saying they were done with Congress once and for all. But then they came back again late last night, insisting that someone in Washington listen to them for once. The late-night protests started with tearful apologies, but quickly moved to anger as marchers demanded that Congress pass a bill making it illegal to say you love someone and then up and leave as soon as there's one little problem.
Why are you ignoring us? Stop ignoring us! Why don't you hear me when I talk to you? Wipe the smirk off of your face. No, come back! Come back because we think that we want you to care about us!
I don't need to pay a therapist to tell me I'm unhappy! I know I'm unhappy!
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live Sunday edition of the program. As always, you're invited to join us here. If you want to join us, our number is 855-450-FREE, where you can take control of the airwaves, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, so Skype on in here at Skype username lrn.fm if you want to talk to us that way, where you'll sound better. It sounds almost like, in a lot of cases, like you're sitting here in the studio with us if you're on Skype. With you tonight, by the way, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
Let's go to Skype, where we actually have Dave Ridley on the line with us. Dave calling from New Hampshire. Hello, Dave. What's up?
Hey, I have a update on the fight for freedom in Manchester.
All right. Manchester, New Hampshire.
As you may recall, in the 2007 era, there was this argument that if we could just get a tax cap, or really it was technically a spending cap on the city, then it would be very, very difficult for them to override. It would be a big deal if they overrode it, and it would cause public backlash.
Okay.
Well, we did get the tax cap, or spending cap, really, and is a reminder of how important an individual can be in New Hampshire. There were about 4 different people who I would say who, if any one of them had not been involved, there would never have been a spending cap. And I was one of them. Tammy Simmons was one of them. And I just was going out and getting petitions because I was getting paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the New Hampshire Advantage Coalition and other organizations made sure that it was possible to finally get this spending cap. But the problem is, once the spending cap went into effect, with great public support and all kinds of government obfuscation and trying to stop it, but the public was way behind it. It did reduce the credibility of the government. And then after it was imposed on the city, they started overriding it a lot, more than people expected it to.
So basically it was useless.
No, it wasn't, because the overrides did, in fact, trigger the kind of public backlash that we were hoping for. And now there's an organization called Concerned Taxpayers of Manchester that is formed. And that's their primary grievance, or it looks like it from the Union Leader article, is all these overrides of the spending cap. Because you're only supposed to, the government is only supposed to be able to raise spending each year at the rate of inflation, no more.
Okay. But they're figuring out reasons why they have to go over the cap all the time.
Right. But people talk about it all the time. It's in the media all the time, this spending cap, which is a complete winning issue for Liberty folks.
Yeah, I would
anyway,
say so.
The concerned taxpayers, I guess it's concerned taxpayers of Manchester.com, what they did was they sent surveys to all the candidates in the upcoming mayoral election and other, local elections in Manchester. And then they outed the ones that were refusing to answer, or that had, they just published everybody's answer basically. And
Sure.
I think they're publishing the names of the people who refused to answer too. So it's pretty constructive. They triggered an article in the Union Leader this week, I think.
Excellent. So what you're saying is here, a little bit of activism can go a long way. As you said, there were just a handful of people who were the movers and shakers on this, the key movers on this, and And had they not been involved, it may never have happened. And now, after the fact, it has created a larger movement in favor of this tax cap. So some seeds were planted that have, despite the fact that the cap has been violated, that have, you say, has brought more attention to the issue.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Hey,
it
thanks.
sounds legitimate to me. It sounds like even if they don't stick by the rule, at the very least now the press knows that there is a rule and they're paying some attention to it. I suspect if they override it regularly, at some point or another, the press will get tired of talking about it.
I don't know. It's been 10 years, and it's still a hot issue after 10 years.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I know that Manchester has some liberty activists that are running for the city council there, including Shire Dude, former sometime co-host here on Free Talk Live. I believe he's thrown his hat into the ring for one of the alderman positions there. So it's, hopefully we'll see some good news out of the election season this year. But let's change gears a little bit, Dave, since we've got you on and you're a big fan of secession. I know Jonny Ray had wanted to talk tonight about Catalonia. Have you been following the situation there this weekend with the Declaration of Independence and the Spanish government basically saying they're going to take over the region?
I just saw the headline to that effect, and I feel so helpless. Like I said, I've made some calls to the embassies and consulates, but after that, what do? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much that we can do out here besides watch and learn and report. I think that people do need to know about this, and that's one of the reasons why we've been covering it to some extent. I would say in a decent amount of detail over time here on Free Talk Live, because
Free Talk Live, your secession news source.
Heck yeah, man! People need to talk about these issues, and that's one of the things you're good at, Dave. Is calling around. You call talk radio stations. It's one of your forms of activism. Is you call local talk shows. And, well, we're not a local show, but you call in New Hampshire local shows to get on their morning shows or, whatever time they have local programming and talk about freedom-related issues. And I presume you've been talking to them about secession for New Hampshire as well.
Yeah, it's funny. It comes up by itself, and I start to worry that I'm going to sound like a one-issue caller. That's because it's such a powerful issue that's, goes to the root of so many problems.
Absolutely. I want to thank you for the call tonight. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, at one stroke, you'd be if we were, independent in New Hampshire, at one stroke, you would be free of 50 to 70% of the rules you currently have to live under.
Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you, Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. So, Jonny Ray, you've been following the Catalonian secession news. What's the latest?
The latest that I've seen today is simply that a lot of the Catalan government, the opposition to the current Catalan government, making them the opposition being more sympathetic to Spain and against independence. They have kind of swung around after the more really against Spain and saying that Spain is doing wrong because of their invocation of Article 155 and announcing that they would be taking direct rule over Catalonia.
That was the announcement that was made, I believe, yesterday in Spain by, was it Mariano Rajoy, the I don't know if he's the prime minister or what his deal is, but I
believe he's the Spanish prime minister.
Yeah. He announced that they were going to invoke this Article 155, which gives the Spanish government the ability to basically move in and take over an area like Catalonia that has supposedly been autonomous. They are going to strip their autonomy from them, supposedly, and basically impose what they call direct rule over the area, which may include, or what they're promising will include in, I think, as early as January, elections that the Spanish government is going to force upon the Catalan region. And, of course, the question is, will they allow anybody to run in those elections, or will it only be people who are allied with the Spanish government who will be running in those elections?
I suspect that's the answer.
I suspect you're right about that as well.
At the very least, what they'll do is they'll make a list of people who cannot run.
Right.
And that list will be the people who are, obviously sympathetic to independence and at this time. So they'll attempt to cut the head off the snake in that way. Whether or not Catalonians will put up with that it's difficult to say. The European Union isn't going to particularly like what's going on there, but I don't know that they have anything that they can do about it.
Yes, it's turning into a very interesting situation. The Catalan Parliament, according to TheGuardian.com, will meet over the coming days to agree that its response to the Spanish government's unprecedented decision to impose direct rule, as speculation mounts that the regional president, Charles Puigdemont, is planning to press ahead with a unilateral declaration of independence. Saturday night, Puigdemont described Madrid's move as the worst attack on Catalonia's institutions since the Franco dictatorship and accused the Spanish government of, quote, slamming the door, unquote, on his appeals for dialogue to resolve the country's worst political crisis since its return to democracy 40 years ago. Hours later, the Catalan government said it would fight, quote, tooth and nail to defend Catalonia's democratically elected institutions, unquote, and the mandate that it had received through the unilateral independence referendum held earlier this month. So things are definitely coming to a head. The conflict continues in Spain, and the Catalonian region will continue here in moments. You can share your thoughts on Free Talk Live.
Called it elephant skin. It was rough, wrinkly, like a Brillo pad.
His hair was falling out in clumps.
Petey stopped eating and all his hair fell out.
Our golden retriever, Sundance, he scratched incessantly. There was hair all over.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Within 2 weeks, the shedding slowed down to almost none. The scratching went away after a few days, and Sundance's coat was starting to get shiny and glossy.
It's a 180 turnaround. His skin has cleared up. He is not in pain.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching,
do the Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try. Dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org.
If you're looking for work, you know what I mean by elevator speech. It's the short version, saying just enough to make the listener want to listen more. Even if you're not a job seeker, effective communication skills have never been more important, with money and attention so scarce now. So to cut through the clutter, choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Instead of saying, due to the fact that, say, because. And avoid mispronunciations. Say jewelry, not jewelry, which could offend. Undoubtedly, you don't want to say undoubtedly. And whatever you do, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment walking down the street to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of a user's manual for the human experience.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Sunday edition of the show, talking about the Catalan independence movement. They're trying to break away peacefully from the government of Spain. And, of course, governments tend to not appreciate secessionist movements, even peaceful ones. So,
talking about taking their tax base from them.
Spanish government is saying they are going to impose direct rule on the Catalonian region. I've got a little bit more here, including some outrageous whitewashing of the police violence that happened in the Catalan region by one of the Spanish government goons. We'll share that with you coming up. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark. If you've ever taken a multivitamin that you got at the store, I want to tell you there's a bit of a difference between synthetic multivitamin, whole food multi-complete. Whole food multi-complete is a plant-based multi, and I don't even want to call it a multivitamin because it doesn't have just vitamins and minerals, but it's got enzymes and probiotics and antioxidants and everything you need for a given day if you take it as directed. Whole Food Multi-Complete has been for years now providing for you what the big vitamin manufacturers simply won't. And it's the perfect blend of 7 supplements in a single product. Now, there's a lot of ingredients inside those supplements. Just go to simplifymysupplements.com and take a look at the ingredients list. I think you'll be very, very surprised. And the expense and complexities taken out. All you have to do is follow the supplement program. Visit simplifymysupplements.com. Learn more now. I took it, and besides being, the greatest supplement I've taken so far, it just caused me to lose about 10 or 15 pounds just off the bat because it balanced my gut. Enter coupon code FTL. You receive 10% off your order every time you order, so use it every time. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Yes, they take Bitcoin. SimplifyMySupplements.com, coupon code FTL.
Spain's reaction to the Catalonian independence has been firm and blunt. Sunday, its Foreign Minister Alfonso Dastis said if a coup had taken place, it had been carried out by Puigdemont and his colleagues. Puigdemont is the leader of the Catalan parliament. However, the Speaker of the Catalan Parliament, Carme Forcadell, called the measures a de facto coup d'etat, and Puigdemont said the legislature would meet to discuss its response. Quote, I will ask Parliament to call a plenary session in which the representatives of civil sovereignty, those who've been elected by the votes of citizens, can debate and decide how to respond to the attempt to eliminate our self-government and our democracy and act accordingly. The board of the Catalan Parliament is due to meet Monday to fix a date for the plenary session. So there's still a whole lot of talking about what to get started doing here as far as both sides are concerned. Now, it does sound like the Spanish government's ready to impose direct rule, but from what I heard earlier, they just simply announced that they were going to impose direct rule and that will be coming like within the next week or maybe at the end of this coming week.
They also, I think, would like to hire the current Catalan police forces. They would like to just incorporate them into the...
Really? Because I had heard they were going to take over. I heard they were going to send their own police in and replace the Catalan police forces.
I think that's probably what they're going to have to do.
Because that's the question.
To a great extent. But
what are the Catalan police going to do?
Right.
I mean, are they...
Who knows?
This is an important question. Are they going to ally themselves with the Catalan government and the people who are their friends and their neighbors who voted overwhelmingly in the referendum a few weeks ago to leave Spain? Or are they going to turncoat and join up with the Spanish government? Or will they split within their ranks?
Well, I don't know the answer, but I would say that if the police hold firm...
Stick with Catalan?
Yeah, stick with Catalan. Then Catalonia.
Yeah.
Then they will... Then all this plan will fail by Spain. But if the police break ranks, then yeah, absolutely. Because then essentially, police are the tip of the spear as far as rule goes.
Sure.
Right? I don't think anybody out there who thinks that Free Talk Live hates police, right, would disagree with the statement that, yeah, they are the fist that enforces the rules. And...
Right.
if the fist is local, we found, like, it is common today that people around the world are fine as long as local rulers are ruling local people. However, when you have foreign rulers ruling local people, that isn't going to go. So if Spain has to ship in cops to keep the Catalonians in line, that's going to look bad, and it's going to look very bad to their European Union neighbors and all that other stuff. If, on the other hand, the police, break ranks and they say, sure, we'll take the extra money that you're handing out, which is really just Catalonian money anyway, because Catalonia is one of the richest regions in Spain. Yeah, then the whole independence movement's going to fall apart.
Well, speaking of the police being shipped in, that's literally what happened during and before the vote, where they had 2 cruise ships docked in Barcelona's harbor filled with government police from across Spain, whose job it was to shut down voting locations and arrest people and try to stop them from participating in this vote. In fact, that's what the whitewashing is going to be coming up here. Let me share those quotes from Alfonso Dastis, who had said that the coup was on the side that if there was a coup, it was the Catalans who were conducting the coup. He said the government was trying reluctantly to reinstate order in Catalonia following the referendum and called on people in the region to respect its decision. He told the BBC's Andrew Marr show, quote, "We are going to establish the authorities who are going to rule the day-to-day affairs of Catalonia according to the Catalan laws and norms. I hope everyone will disregard whatever instructions the current Catalan government will be planning to give, because they will not have the legal authority to do that." So he's hoping that the people of Catalonia will ignore the government that they have already said they want to support and leave the Spanish government. He's hoping they'll change their minds. Dastis defended the Spanish police's actions as they tried to halt the referendum, even though other members of the government have actually apologized for the violent scenes when officers raided polling stations, charged the crowds with batons, and fired rubber bullets. And I'd like to also add drop-kicked people off of stairs, threw them downstairs, and pulled them by the hair from the ground. All of this happened in a 2-minute-long video that we saw here in the studio, and that's just one of the videos. So here's what he had to say about that. Quote, "I think by now many of those pictures have been proven to be fake pictures."
Yeah, the video of the cop jumping off of three steps above and then stomping on people in midair. No, that's not fake.
Now, I don't know if it was. No, it was not last. It was 2 weeks ago that we were that the three of us were in here talking about it, and I said that the Spanish were taking the right track with this.
What do you mean?
That when everybody knows that government is violence, they've accepted that, then what you have to do is be the most violent person and
crush the rebellion.
And yes, and crush them and show no mercy.
And that's what they're doing.
And I think they're going to succeed.
Really?
Yeah,
yes.
I'll take the opposite tack at this point. The Catalonians have not accepted the government as violence. What the Catalonians want is localized violence, rather than a more centralized violence in Madrid.
But Johnny's right. I mean, if they want to keep Catalan there, they got to crack down.
You're not going to be able to do that inside of the EU. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. This isn't Cuba.
Did the EU send in troops to stop them?
If the violence goes full bore, I don't think that they're going to just leave Spain alone.
You think the EU is going to not side with their own
This is
member?
a country that just left fascism 40 years ago. No, I don't.
855 450 free like freedom. You join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
CatieArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. Why would you go anywhere else? Go to CatieArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Go to CatieArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested.
Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad Gravity System. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
Free Talk Live.
This is the first time I've heard your program. I'm hearing this person talk about what a wonderful thing it would be if we had legal drugs.
Yes,
I don't know
Sandy.
where you're getting your information from. I think you've lost your mind. I'm telling you. Oh, you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear reality.
I want to hear everything
you
you
don't
have
want
to
to hear
say.
reality. Okay,
Please,
well then
knock me over with
stop acting
reality,
like
Sandy.
a 12-year-old. You know, I'm telling you what about the war on drugs. If you see people on drugs, you might change your mind.
Man, look, my wife works at a drug treatment center, lady.
Oh, good for her.
There you go.
Good for her.
Sandy, I've
Okay?
smoked copious amounts of marijuana.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that a bit. That's probably what's wrong with your brain.
I've been around plenty of people that have taken
You got
drugs,
a fact
Sandy.
for me, Sandy? One of them, fact?
I don't have statistics.
Sandy, we're not asking people to smoke marijuana. We're just saying, let's not make it illegal.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. We're talking about the latest out of Catalonia, where both sides are refusing to compromise. The Catalan region representatives there are saying they're going to be meeting this week to discuss their response to the Spanish government saying that they're going to enforce direct rule over Catalonia in response to the Catalans voting to leave Spain. So it's a very interesting situation, and it's developing day by day. We're going to keep you up to date with that as it continues to develop.
I saw a headline that said there were 450,000 people marching in Barcelona.
When? Today?
Today, or I guess it was today. I don't know what time it would have been here.
Incredible numbers. I mean, just the people.
It's about 6% of the population of Catalonia.
It's huge. I mean, it's to see that many people in the streets. I've never seen anything like that in the United States. Those people want change. They are willing to do something about this. But you guys were arguing a little bit during the break. One of you, I don't remember which one because I was busy on the computer here, but one of you said you didn't think the people were going to do what it took.
That was me. I said,
meaning to resist the government imposed upon them.
Yeah, Mark said that if the Spanish get ultra violent, and
as they
win.
have already done.
If the Spanish get ultraviolent and win, then I look good, and if the Spanish get ultraviolent and then lose, then I look bad. And I said the ultraviolence, and then we talked about courage, and if the people and if the Europeans have backbone anymore. Mark was talking about it in the sense that do the Spanish have the fortitude? Yeah, the Spanish government, do they have the iron in them to do a disgusting, violent act? And I said
they already did. They already attacked voters.
Yeah, they did, but
peaceful voters.
Sure,
with non-lethal means.
Hoping, right? They were largely on non-lethal means. They were hoping that their show of force would drive the voters away. But what they in fact did was just, first they told the people that agreed with them not to vote, so they just gave the election away, and then they put the window dressing of tyranny on by sending in the Darth Vader clones.
Yeah, they had the shock troops out.
So, I mean, it was a very bad choice, but I can't imagine they're going to continue on with it.
The Spanish government, you don't think they're going to continue on with violence?
I don't think so.
And I don't think they're going to need to use any kind of lethal methods or anything particularly horrific, because the people of Catalonia are going to respond to the truncheons and the rubber bullets. And they're not going there. That's going to do the job, and they're going to stop marching in the streets eventually, and they're going to accept their new Spanish police.
400,000 people in the streets is a lot of people to try to control. I mean, it's one thing to control a crowd of 400 people. It's another thing entirely when you start getting up into the tens or hundreds of thousands of human beings. There just aren't enough cops in all of Spain to deal with that situation. Now, obviously, at some point, people have got to go back to work. You can't march every single day for the rest of your life. But if people in Catalonia are just refusing to obey the Spanish government, if let's say the Spanish government demands, that you pay the VAT tax or whatever, and then all of a sudden the businesses are like, well, we're going to collect the tax, but we're going to send it to Catalonia's government, not you. And they keep doing that. Eventually, we already know the Spanish banks have left town, so they've already moved their headquarters out of Catalonia. So there may be Catalan-only banks that may accept that money. I mean, who knows? I think there are some peaceful ways that if people stick to the plan, they could wear down the Spanish government.
Well, any government really relies on people not sticking together. It is rare that people do stick together.
Sure.
The government's, they've got 9,000 years of the state, and their one single plan is to drive you out by yourself and then slay you individually. Not in a group. They don't do that. They don't confront when the numbers aren't in their favor. But when they are, and they're very good at making the numbers in their favor. So you're right. If all the businesses in Catalonia just decide to collect the VAT tax and then send it to whatever the capital of Catalonia is, and I don't know.
Probably Barcelona would be my guess.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
that's the big city, certainly.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, send it to Barcelona rather than Madrid. Then,
it's Barcelona.
Then EU would certainly start recognizing Barcelona as, as Catalonia as its own place, because they want the VAT.
Mm-hmm.
They want the taxes. They want that revenue. But if, for whatever reason, that doesn't work out, and I suspect it won't, because governments drive you to try to sectionalize people and then work on the small groups.
Like I said, it's fascinating to watch all this happen. It's really just going to be an endurance challenge, I suspect, unless, of course, the Spanish government does want to escalate the violence to actual killings, which they don't probably want to do that because it will likely rescind any amount of goodwill that they might have had left among the Catalonian people, and even may turn some of the rest of the Spanish people against them. It's one thing to talk tough. It's another thing to use force to kind of prevent people from voting, but it's a whole other thing to start executing people in the streets. So it doesn't seem likely that they're going to want to tilt their hand that far into violence. So therefore, if the people in Catalonia can just put up with whatever other methods that they try to crack down upon them with, what other economic consequences or other things that they come up with, I mean, how long could the Spanish government literally just occupy the streets with shock troops? Because that gets expensive, doesn't it?
Very expensive, yes.
Right? And so then you're just going to be impoverishing your own people even further just to try to keep a grip on this one area that continues to be uppity and continues to, refuse to go along to get along. It really is a battle of the wills, I think, at this point. And I don't blame somebody, Johnny. I don't blame you, Johnny Ray, for saying you don't think the people have what it takes. But we're not talking about lazy Americans here. We're talking about people who've been out in the streets on multiple occasions in the hundreds of thousands. These people are fed up. I don't know. It's fascinating to watch. You're welcome to share your thoughts here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Scott. He's in Massachusetts, and I suspect this is Scott the Bigot. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Ian, Mark, and Johnny Ray.
Go ahead, sir.
I hope you're all right. They're opening up the Kennedy files, and I've wondered for a long time what that would be, but a lot of it does not surprise me. That JFK was a womanizer. He had a brothel. He was the Irish Catholic Harvey Weinstein of his day. That the old man, Joseph Patrick Kennedy, bought the 1960 election for his son, especially regarding West Virginia, because West Virginia was heavily Protestant and they wouldn't vote for an Irish Catholic or any Catholic for that matter. So he bought that, and also Chicago, there was shenanigans.
I don't know any of this stuff.
Well, you're learning it now. That JFK got into office because of his old man, Joseph Patrick Kennedy, bought it. And in Massachusetts, the Kennedys are regarded as a god. But that's very sad, because when you look at JFK with a womanizer, and he ran a brothel in the White House, and Bobby Kennedy, who was a ruthless, very ruthless politician in many regards, Ted Kennedy.
Are all the Kennedys a god in Massachusetts, or are they like a pantheon of their own sort of quarreling gods?
They are. The reason why the power they have is the Irish control tremendous power in Massachusetts, and the Kennedys are Irish Catholic.
Do you hate Irish people too?
What's that?
Do you hate Irish people too?
The Irish control too much power in Massachusetts. It's like a little Ireland, and that's one of the reasons why, if you were to speak to the average person in Massachusetts, Kennedy can do no wrong. I mean, look at Marty Walsh, for example. He's the mayor of Boston. Most of the politicians, the big politicians, are all Irish Catholic, and they run the state, and I resent it.
Wasn't the last mayor of Boston black? I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not Irish.
No. What I'm saying is that in Massachusetts, at one time the Brahmins or the Blue Bloods, the old Yankees, ran Massachusetts. Those days are long gone.
But now it's
and
the
Irish control it. And
what do you got against Irish people? We're coming up here. Free Talk Live.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic at Dinovite.
This year, whenever you order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog, we'll send you a free sample of one of the other doggy things we make.
Like Lico Chops, Super Mega Fish Oil, or Doggo Suds Shampoo.
What's on your dog's wish list?
We'll offer a different freebie each week at Dinovite.com.
Don't you just love the sound of healthy, happy dogs?
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Joel Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy. There's no reason why you shouldn't live to be at least 100 and have a great time getting there. And I'm going to give you a free copy of my lecture that tells you exactly how to do it. In fact, after you've lived a long and healthy life, there should be only 2 documents in your medical chart, a birth certificate and a death certificate. I'm Dr. Wallach with a warning. If you have a 4-inch medical chart, if you take prescription drugs for high cholesterol, high blood pressure, arthritis, joint pains, and other health issues, the medical profession is failing you. They're using you for an ATM machine. My free lecture is going to reveal what pharmaceutical companies don't want you to know. There's been groundbreaking research and discoveries on how to effectively treat or eliminate over 900 different diseases naturally, and it's all in my free lecture called Deadly Recipe. So call toll-free 1-855-79-YOUNG. Again, that's toll-free 1-855-79-YOUNG. 1-855-79-YOUNG.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free and bring up whatever you want. If you want to, you can join us at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And if you're interested in trying out what may be the best pillow you'll ever use, pretty much risk-free for 60 days, you can do that by going to mypillow.com and using code FTL like Free Talk Live. That gets you your MyPillow at half price. Why do you want it? Well, it's designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. Mark, you and I, we've got the MyPillow, and we've had it now for like a year and a half, I think, at this point. It's been fantastic. I finally did wash mine a few months ago. You can actually wash and dry the MyPillow, which good luck finding that feature with your regular pillows out there. MyPillow.com, use code FTL. If for some reason you don't care for it in the first 60 days, you can send it back and then you'll get your purchase price back. But if you keep it like we're doing, the pillow is guaranteed to last for 10 years. So go and get yours, or more than one. You get the discount on more than one if you want it. MyPillow.com, code FTL for 50% off. As we go back to Scott in Massachusetts, I just want to know, Scott, obviously you're a bigot, but normally your bigotry only, applies to people who aren't white Protestant males. So you generally have been pro-white Protestant male. You hate women, you hate blacks, you hate Jews, you hate, fill in the blank. But it sounds like you also hate Irish people. Now,
Johnny Ray, is this where Ian shows his ignorance that most Irish people are Catholic?
Are they Catholic? That's what I was going to ask.
Yes, most of them are.
So that's what this is about.
The majority are.
That's what this is. So that's what this is about. It's about their religion.
I have about the Irish is that they're crooked in Massachusetts politics. They're always pulling.
Did you know that all politicians are crooked?
And the shenanigans.
You do realize that politicians, just by their nature, are crooked. It doesn't have anything to do with where they were born or...
Well, no, but I'm talking about Massachusetts, where Irish Catholic politicians are drunk with power. And you look at Mayor Walsh of Boston. Let's look at him. He's the most Irish-looking guy I've ever seen. I wouldn't trust him as far as I'd throw him. And it goes back to from the days of Kevin White.
How do you know an Irish person when you see them?
A lot of times through freckles. They have freckled faces, light complexion, although Protestants do too. A lot of times their noses are red from all the alcohol they consume. They love to drink, the Irish. They have a tremendous drinking problem.
Now, do you drink?
And it's what I resent on the Irish.
Do you drink?
No, I don't drink.
Okay.
I don't drink and I don't smoke.
Okay.
When I look at Massachusetts, what I resent and I have a hatred for, which I do.
Does it? I don't know about that.
Is that if you're running in no matter where you are in Massachusetts, Boston, Worcester, wherever, regardless, and you're running, say you were Protestant and you're running against an Irishman, chances are the Irishman's going to win hands down because the people are heavily Irish, especially, for example, in South Boston, or as they call Southie, and you can't win. And the Massachusetts politics is so rotten, so crooked, just like Rhode Island is crooked. It's all run by the mafia. It's all Italians in Rhode Island, just like the Jews control New York, just like the Mormons control Utah.
The Irish are crooked.
The only people who are honest are
Who's not crooked?
They're all. This is what I resent.
Are you saying, just to
Irish.
clarify, you didn't answer the question. Are you saying that Protestant politicians aren't crooked?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay,
there
good, because that would be a limb.
Tammany Hall was crooked. Boss Tweed in the 1870s, he was Protestant. Donald J. Trump is Presbyterian.
Now, here's what I want to know.
He did a lot of bad things. Did a lot of crooked things, no question about it.
Okay, all right. So you're criticizing some Protestants. So now, are there certain Protestant religions, Christianity, or divisions of it, schisms, sects, whatever that you think are also horrible? Is there one true Protestant denomination, or what?
In my opinion, there's the only true Protestant denomination is one, and that's Episcopalian.
Episcopalian. I got to say, I don't know a whole lot about that one.
Is so cut up into so different many sects. Talking about Protestantism.
What is an Episcopalian? What does one believe that makes that original or unique?
American version of Anglican.
Essentially,
it's very Catholic.
It's Catholic without the Pope.
Well, George Washington was Episcopalian. All of our founding fathers were.
That's not true.
More Presbyterians have held the office than any other. So if you're
really,
yes, Andrew Jackson, you're right. Andrew Jackson was a Presbyterian.
What about the deists? Weren't there a bunch of deists that founded the country?
I think probably
Thomas Jefferson, I believe, was a deist,
but
and
that doesn't mean
Abraham
he
Lincoln was Protestant, but he never stated a religion. But
well, yeah, because deism isn't really much of a religion, right?
It's not a denomination,
right?
No.
Hey, thanks, Scott, for the call tonight.
Thank you.
Somewhat appreciate the call. Toll-free number here, 855-450, free like freedom.
Yeah, Methodists are like Baptists that can read.
Okay.
It's a line from a river runs through it.
All right, toll-free number here, 855.
It's the best line from a river runs through it.
450, free like freedom. David is on the line in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, David.
Hey, yeah, I think you'll find this amusing, and I won't set it up for you because I think you'll get the connection. So let me just tell you, you have this mayor's race going on in Albuquerque with Sarah's favorite, Tim Keller, is the favorite. He was on the radio yesterday being interviewed, and the interviewer asked him if he was mayor, and we've had riots here in Albuquerque before, and there was a controversy over how the mayor and the police department handled it, and it was when Trump had come here when he was campaigning, and so they're anticipating that kind of thing possibly happening again, and they don't want to have the same problems over. So the interviewer asked Tim Keller, mayoral candidate, and what would you do? How would you handle it if you had like we did before riots downtown involving Antifa? And Keller goes, and what is Antifa? So obviously you got it, and I'll let you explain it to your audience. You'll do it in a more entertaining
Antifa
fashion
is
than I will.
anti-fascists. They are getting a lot of news headlines these days for going out and being violent and attacking and fighting with white nationalist types.
The fact that the
Nazis.
guy didn't know who it was sort of shows a.
It's like an Aleppo moment, right? What is Aleppo?
Yeah,
exactly. That's the connection, and just so happens to be Gary Johnson is another New Mexico native,
true.
just like Tim Keller.
Yeah.
Well, I can't blame somebody for, being busy or not hearing the headlines, but you do sort of expect that a politician would know, or at least would be more likely to be aware, because presumably they are supposedly more connected with, the things that are going on in society.
Yeah, and it happens to be this was a controversial campaign issue. This riot thing. How would you handle a riot?
So he should have known. So he should have known. It was right there under in his backyard in Albuquerque. He should have been more aware. It wasn't like Aleppo, which is thousands of miles away.
Right. It was right in the forefront because it was an actual campaign issue rather than Aleppo, which is kind of obscure. But so it was rather hilarious, and it almost made me wonder if he was, on one hand, are you, Tim Keller, are you really that ignorant, or were you trying to distance your, since Antifa is associated with the left and Keller is the left of the two candidates that are remaining? Was he trying to distance himself from Antifa by, feigning ignorance that they existed?
Interesting question, David. Thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. I mean, I got to give, like when Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate back in 2016, we put quotes around Libertarian, when he made the famous or infamous gaffe of what is Aleppo, at the very least, I'll credit those guys for not pretending to know, or not trying to somehow deflect the question.
Yeah, I think maybe he would have, but he just knew that if he tried, being completely ignorant about what Aleppo was and then trying to give an opinion about it, he'd be undone. I think he was just in a place where there was nothing else he could do.
First off, he had gotten asked a question that was completely unrelated, and they went right to Aleppo. Mm-hmm. And I can see why somebody would say, Aleppo? What's Aleppo? If you're not talking about Syria in context. So that, the first excuse I have. Secondarily, I think that anybody can have a moment, and it's also possible, not in Gary Johnson's case, but in this mayor's case, that he didn't hear exactly what was said. And
possible.
Sometimes context matters. You're catching somebody, they're campaigning hard, whatever, they're not getting the sleep they need. I guess these when people latch on to it, Obama said there were 57 states, that stuff. I just don't think that that's for or against a particularly good reason to vote or not vote for a candidate. Is because somebody made some kind of gaffe at some point or another, and the media can make hay with it.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And, of course, we've got Skype as well. So feel free to Skype into the show at Skype username LRN.FM. Still to come, a little bit more on Catalonia. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Also, Bitcoin is once again under attack by the big bankers, Ben Bernanke, Goldman Sachs. And we'll tell you more coming up. Hour 2's on the way. Free Talk Live.
Attention type 2 diabetics. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has warned that Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR and other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes cause an increased role in amputations of the toes, feet, and legs. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invokamet, or Invokamet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-475-7607. That's 800-475-7607. Again, 800-475-7607. Call now. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. www.injuryhelpdesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, October 22nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.04 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,874. Antiwar.com reports a new report from the Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction warns that U.S. efforts to bring Afghan troops to the United States for training has been greatly undermined by the unacceptably high number of Afghan troops who run away as soon as they arrive. Some 13% of Afghan trainees go missing, with the majority of them junior officers. 152 Afghan trainees have gone AWOL in the course of this operation, and more than half, 83 of them, have never been found. The Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction warns the missing troops are bad for morale of the troops that stay for the training and also for the Afghan military units inside Afghanistan. He also warned the number may continue to rise as mounting violence makes it easier for Afghans to seek asylum. Many of the asylum seekers are fleeing into Canada, believing it to be a safe place to seek sanctuary from being arrested for fleeing from the military. Since many are able to credibly cite safety concerns, including Taliban threats to relatives, such claims of sanctuary have been pretty successful. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a California judge tossed out a $417 million verdict against Johnson & Johnson, the second verdict involving its baby powder that was reversed this week. In a 51-page ruling late Friday, California Superior Court Judge Marin Nelson granted a new trial after finding serious misconduct on the part of the jury, insufficient evidence, and excessive damages. In California, 2 months ago, a jury from Los Angeles awarded Eva Echevarria $70 million in compensatory damages and $347 million in punitive damages, the largest verdict against the company to date. Echevarria, who started using the talc powder product when she was 11, was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2007. Judge Nelson said that under the law, the parent company, which is a legally separate entity from its subsidiary, cannot be held legally liable for non-disclosures for a product it does not manufacture or market. The judge also said there was no convincing evidence of any of the Johnson & Johnson companies acted with malice and should have to pay punitive damages. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Saturday that subject to receipt of further information, he planned to allow the opening of long secret files on the November 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy, due to be released next week. Politico magazine earlier quoted Trump administration and other U.S. government officials as saying the president would almost certainly block the release of information from some of the thousands of classified files, which the U.S. National Archives is scheduled to make public by an October 26th deadline. Trump said in a tweet, subject to the receipt of further information, I will be allowing, as president, the long blocked and classified JFK files to be opened. Thousands of books, articles, TV shows, movies, and documentaries have been produced about the assassination, and surveys have shown a majority of Americans still distrust official evidence pointing to Lee Harvey Oswald as the sole shooter. Over the years, the National Archives has released most documents related to the assassination, but a final batch remains, amounting to tens of thousands of pages, and only the president has authority to decide whether some should continue to be withheld or released in a redacted form. The Washington Post and other media have quoted officials as saying that government agencies have lobbied Trump to withhold some of the documents, arguing that they could expose relatively recent intelligence and law enforcement operations. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A new study finds most high school graduates are woefully unprepared for high school, and a bag of flour has a slave auction on its front. This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, Secretary of Labor Thomas Perez unveiled plans to boost the nation's struggling job market by giving every unemployed American a self-serve yogurt shop, saying that the frozen yogurt business model is robust, profitable, and that they've pretty much exhausted other options. Perez explained that owners will be responsible for stocking their own topping bars with items such as Oreo crumbles, minced kiwi, cashews, and gummy bears. Estimates indicate the country will need to increase daily consumption of frozen yogurt by approximately 2.3 gallons per person in order for the new stores to remain solvent. And in this week's local news, something is apparently going on between a mom and her friend. In other news, Taco Bell warns its employees against ever exposing their skin to its food. A sad man tears 2 bananas off of a larger bunch, and a new report finds everything you've ever wanted has been right in front of you all along.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. As always, we invite you to join us here at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. With you in the studio, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
We're going to get into some of the big bankers and Federal Reserve chairman, former Fed chairman, who are on the attack against Bitcoin. And we'll tell you what they have to say here in moments. But in the last hour, we were kind of updating you on the latest from Catalonia, the independence movement, the world's most, I guess, noteworthy, most paid attention to of all of the, because they're not the only secession movement.
Not by any stretch.
Yeah. Going
there
on.
was a referendum in Kurdistan, Erbil? Isn't that right?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
My geography is terrible. I'm going to go ahead and go with Erbil as being a Kurdish city. And
they want to secede from Kurdistan?
No, Kurdistan doesn't exist.
Oh, okay.
But Kurds are an ethnic group in the Middle East that live in parts of Iraq, Iran, Syria, Turkey, and I'm not sure where else. And they would like to have their own state.
They want to create Kurdistan.
There's a little bit in Iran, if you'll.
I said Iran.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. So there was a referendum there too, and following their referendum, the Iraqi army troops moved in and took over there.
Wow.
Where they had some amount of autonomy starting in the 90s.
Under Hussein?
The U.S. State Department, I guess, had encouraged them to rise up against Saddam Hussein.
Huh.
And the U.S. did not follow through with any support.
Right.
And then so the Saddam rolled over them.
Crushed them.
Yep. But the U.S. did establish a no-fly zone in that part of Iraq. So that has allowed them to create a little bit of the autonomy that they wanted. And the Peshmerga are a Kurdish military force. And they've been fighting alongside the Iraqis and some of the others against ISIS.
So they want to carve out their own land out of sections from multiple countries?
Well,
yes, and none,
that sounds challenging.
More likely they'll just come out of Iraq, and then everybody will just move there from
that
the
would
other
seem to be a
countries.
little easier.
Does that sound about right?
Well, I think more likely there's going to be no movement whatsoever.
I can't imagine. The Kurds have had so much news for so long that somebody isn't just going to say, finally give up. I mean, Iraq is still basically a failed state. I mean, they just barely managed to defeat ISIS, which is a gang. I mean, really nothing more. I don't know. I have high hopes for Kurdistan.
Israel, this is from what I hear from Scott Horton and the people he interviews at antiwar.com. Israel is the one nation that has said that they would recognize Kurdistan, but no one else wants to. For like the Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Syria, they don't want to encourage that kind of sentiment.
And the U.S. likes those Turkish Air Force bases that it has, so it doesn't want to go up against Turkey.
So back to Catalonia, where there's a little bit more here I thought that was worth sharing, where the Spanish government is attempting to invoke Article 155 of the Constitution to force what they're now calling direct rule on the supposedly autonomous region of Catalonia. The Catalonian people, in case you're just tuning in, had voted overwhelmingly. 90% of the voters who turned out voted to secede from the Spanish rule, and so now the Spanish government's planning a crackdown if the Catalans don't get in line. And according to Alfonso Dastis, he said, this is the foreign minister of Spain's bureaucrat, he says that he defended the Spanish police actions as they tried to halt the referendum. This according to theguardian.com. This was when the Spanish police literally had floated in 2 cruise ships full of cops and then proceeded to disperse throughout the Catalan region to lock down voting locations, steal millions of pre-printed ballots, and arrest anybody and try to stop them from coming and voting. He defended their actions, saying that, quote, "I think by now many of those pictures of the police violence have been proven to be fake pictures. If there was any use of force, it was a limited one, and prompted by the fact that law and order agencies were prevented from discharging the orders of the courts." So he's saying, you made us do it. Like, if you'd just gone along and not gone to this election, we wouldn't have had to have gotten
That's
violent.
what every abuser has said to every victim ever, right? Like, I'm sorry I had to beat you thusly about the head and shoulders.
But you should have done the dishes.
Or whatever it was. I mean, this is just...
He says further, quote, I'm not saying that all of them are fake pictures, but some of them are.
The one of Darth Vader doing kung fu on that Catalonian's head, not fake.
Some of them are, and there have been a lot of alternative facts and fake news here. As I said, if there was at all, and according to the pictures, there was some use of force. It was not a deliberate use of force. It was a provoked use of force. You provoked us by going to vote. You provoked us by going to participate in the democracy that you thought that we supported, right? Like, democracy is this big buzzword out there, and people love their democracy. Now, we know better here on Free Talk Live. We know it's 2 wolves and a sheep deciding on dinner, but regardless, that's what they did. They went to exercise their supposed democratic right, and he called that provoking the use of force. You come try to vote, we're going to crack your head.
Yeah.
It's not our fault we're cracking your head.
You're voting on the wrong things.
You're doing this to yourself as they're, beating
Stop
you.
hitting yourself.
Right.
Stop hitting yourself.
Stop voting.
Rajoy is the first Spanish prime minister to invoke Article 155. It's the so-called nuclear option of Spain's 1978 constitution, but Dastis insisted the government was merely enacting a carbon copy of an article that also exists in the German constitution. So he's using another state's example, which Germany doesn't have the best history against their own people either, as his justification for this. Quote, if you look at the rest of democracies and certainly partners in the European Union, they wouldn't accept a decision as such to be taken by a part of the country, he said. Opposition politicians in Catalonia responded to Rajoy's proposals by urging Puigdemont, who's one of the leaders in Catalonia, to drop his independence plans and calm the situation by calling elections. Inés Arrimadas, the leader of the Catalan opposition, tweeted, quote, "The irresponsible government has done away with the statute, closed parliament, broken coexistence, and upset the economy. Re-establishing legality and calling elections would allow Catalonia to regain democracy and sense."
I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to call new elections.
The Catalonians are going to call for it? Or the Spanish are, because we know the Spanish plan to.
Well, the Spanish have already called for it. I don't know if they've put formal steps in process. Members of the Catalonian parliament have also called for new elections. I think the article you're reading goes on to say about what is some of the different groups that did so, and I think that is just going to be a way to make it like this never happened, but Catalonia still doesn't get what a lot of them want, independence.
Alex Ramos, the vice president of Societat Civil Catalana, a group opposed to independence, said that while no one had wanted Madrid to step in, the blame lay with Puigdemont's government and its headlong and undemocratic rush towards independence. Ramos said the regional government had triggered its own version of 155 last month when it pushed the referendum legislation through parliament despite a walkout of the opposition MPs. He said, quote, "The central government had no choice but to activate 155 to effect," now get this, "a return to proper self-government." So his idea of proper self-government is for the larger government to come in and impose its will upon the smaller one. That is what he's calling self-government. He says, "We're not happy that it's been triggered because this has been a collective failure, but it's necessary because of what happened in September. A state is entitled to preserve its territorial integrity." So there you go. That's the latest from Catalonia.
Yeah, that's what they're going to say. They're going to say, Spain's going to say,
this is our land.
This is our country. Like, this is the shape of Spain. It's always been the shape of Spain. How can you possibly say that Spain's not going to be shaped this way? We've drawn a polygon on the map, and it's important. And, the Catalonians, I don't know that they're
fed up, man.
I don't know if they're ready for everything that's going to be freedom here. They got to have a lot of ducks in the row for this.
It could get very messy. We'll keep you up to date as it develops. More on the way. Your thoughts on whatever's on your mind. Our number here, 855-450 free like freedom. Coming up, Bitcoin's under attack too. It's Free Talk Live.
Book Club Radio.
Today we're chatting with Mike Papantonio, leading trial lawyer and prolific author. His latest novel, Law and Vengeance, is a non-stop, action-packed legal thriller. We spoke with him about the book and the real-life issues that inform and inspire his writing.
When you read these books, you're going to hear me talk about what I call biostitutes. A biostitute may be a scientist. They will say anything that needs to be said for the right number of millions of dollars. And right now, that industry is just expanding, bigger than I've ever seen. I've been doing this for 35 years. So when you see my books, whether it's Law and Disorder, whether it's Law and Vengeance, the next one coming out is Law and Addiction. When you read those books, you'll really see me beating on these biostitutes because it is an industry that runs the risk of destroying everything we believe, and that is we believe that capitalism works fairly. When you put a biostitute in the process, it doesn't.
On the heels of the critically acclaimed legal thriller, Law and Disorder, comes Law and Vengeance, the latest novel from famed trial attorney Mike Papantonio. Law and Vengeance follows the law firm of Bergman Dichotomus, who is now in the crosshairs of a weapons manufacturer. But this is not a law firm that plays by all the rules. Based on a real case, Law and Vengeance, the riveting new legal thriller by Mike Papantonio, is available wherever books are sold.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you're invited to join us on the radio. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We got Skype. Skype on in here. It's Skype username lrn.fm.
So Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and to help people manage their own wealth. It's fast. It can be private. It's easy. Fees are low, and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly if you'd like. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized. It's run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping to run the Dash network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control of your financial future today. You find out more by going to dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now, so go to dash.org and find out why.
All right. Our toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. Since we're talking about secession, I've actually been holding on to this one for a couple weeks. John Stossel has recently weighed in, and there's a column that was published by John Stossel over at the Union Leader, which is the largest newspaper in New Hampshire. I presume this appeared in syndication elsewhere, but that's where I saw it. He writes that the United States was born when the Founding Fathers seceded from England. So why do so many people now see secession as a terrible thing? Recently, people in Catalonia voted to break away from Spain, as we've been discussing in detail here. Not to declare war on Spain or refuse to trade with Spain, just to control their own affairs.
Right. I mean, that's what it seems like is, you got to do everything just to be able to say, hey, no, we want to take care of our own stuff.
Governments, or he says the Spanish government says they must not even vote. They sent police to shut down polling places and beat protesters into staying off the streets. Governments never want to give up power. The European Union was offended and American politicians shocked when the United Kingdom voted to exit the EU, what they called the Brexit at that time. And they're still in that process. It wasn't like they just voted and then they were gone. There's like this ridiculously, of course, political and long drawn out.
Best I can tell, they're still in the EU.
Right. It's going to take probably more time. I don't know how many more months or years, but it's brutal. Anyway, going on here, he says pundits declared Britain's move a terrible mistake. But local governments can be more responsive to the needs of constituents. No government is perfect, but keeping government close to home, keeping it local, makes it easier to keep an eye on it. The powerful prefer one big central government. Some want the whole world to answer to one government. President Ulysses S. Grant fantasized about countries becoming, quote, one nation, so that armies and navies are no longer necessary, unquote. President Harry Truman wanted a world court Just as American disputes are settled by our Supreme Court, he said, quote, there's not a difficulty in the whole world that cannot be settled in the exact same way in a world court, unquote. But central authorities aren't the best way to solve our problems. Competition is. In the U.S., state governments behave not because their politicians are noble, but because people can vote with their feet. They can move to other states. If taxes get too high in New York, you can move to Florida. As California tortures businesses, Californians move to Arizona and Texas. The more governments from which you can choose, the easier it is to benefit from competition between them. All Americans, however, must obey rules set by Washington, D.C. But what if most people in a state reject those rules and demand the right to govern themselves? There have been several secession movements in California, a plan to break California up into smaller states, a push to make Northern California a breakaway state called Jefferson, and now the Yes California movement that wants to make California a separate country. Calexit's proponents say Californians shouldn't have to answer to the evil President Trump. If Calexit ever happened, I suppose conservative parts of the state would vote to separate from the leftists who dominate Sacramento. Maybe we'd end up with 3 countries where there used to only be 1. Although I suspect that once California seceded, they, like Spain, would want to keep the conservative areas in the state.
Oh, yes.
And be very hypocritical about that.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to. I'm sorry, the liberals can't grow their own food. They've never been very good at that.
When I look, says Stossel, at how badly Washington, D.C. governs, the idea of secession doesn't scare me. After the Cold War, Czechoslovakia split into Slovakia and the Czech Republic. Tensions between Czechs and Slovaks have disappeared, wrote Marian Tupy, a Cato analyst born in Czechoslovakia. She continued writing, Czechs no longer subsidize their poorer cousins in the East, while Slovaks no longer blame their problems on their big brother in the West. Everyone has won. Secession frightens some Americans, says Stossel, because they associate it with slavery. Preserving that despicable practice was one reason southern states wanted to break away.
Yeah.
But obviously,
the largest of reasons, best I can tell.
And one can favor secession without supporting slavery. Even some abolitionists, anti-slavery activists in the 19th century, supported the right to secede.
Yeah, New England was going to secede from the United States over slavery in the other direction.
More recently, some black neighborhoods on the outskirts of Boston argued for turning the greater Roxbury area into a new city called Mandela. They say it would be more responsive to locals' needs. In New York City, Republicans on Staten Island sometimes argue for breaking away from the Democrats who mismanage the rest of New York. During the Obama administration, some Texans wanted a vote on Texit. None of those things is likely to happen, but I'm wary of any government that hates the idea of people escaping its influence. President Trump weighed in on Catalonian independence. He's against it. Quote, I would like to see Spain continue to be united, unquote, said Trump.
Who cares what he thinks?
He's the president of the United States. So.
I would like to see, of all the things I'd like to see, it doesn't have anything to do with that.
Well, of course he wants to see it continue on. He supports the United States. He supports the status quo. He supports big governments having big power because that benefits people like Trump. So it's not a surprising statement. Stossel finally says it's easy to love a big central government when you're in charge of it. Also, national governments can inspire proud nationalist sentiments, but Catalans smarting from police batons probably feel differently. Stossel says, I say, let people go their own way. And totally agree. I hope that we see more secession fervor here in the United States. I know it's, people are not out in the streets here in the U.S. over this like they are in Catalonia. It doesn't have the level of impact here amongst the mind share of the people here. But it is still refreshing to see at least the discussions are being had to some extent, whether it's people talking about California leaving and supporting it, because why would you be against it? Why would somebody not? I mean, besides people like Trump who want to aggregate as much power to themselves, if you're not already in and benefiting from the federal government, if you're not in charge of it, if you're just an average person, why would you be against California leaving?
If you were a Democrat, you would hate the idea that you're losing 2 seats in the Senate and further, you would hate that.
But you could move to California and then you'd have a socialist state.
More so.
I mean, you'd have total control, basically, over the Senate of that state.
There's always a reason, socialists always have a reason why socialism isn't working, though. And they need to go this place or that. I mean, honestly, there are people all across the United States now that want socialized health care. You can tell them, hey, And it doesn't matter if they live just across the border in Minnesota. You can tell them, hey, it's just a few miles north of you. And they're like, why should I have to move? You suck.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
In Canada, you mean.
Right. I pick up and move my life 1,500 miles
we all
just
did.
to have an opportunity to see if maybe some of the ideas I have might work. These people have it operating, a few hundred miles from them. They won't pick up and do anything.
The toll-free number here is 855-450 free like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can join us on this live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective, and more affordable than you might think. Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level. That's advertise.gcnlive.com.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad gravity system. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Sunday edition of the program. As always, you're invited here to dial in toll-free at 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. So you can bring up anything that is on your mind. Still to come here tonight, if we get the chance, we will talk about a woman who has been targeted by the state of Florida after giving out some diet tips on the air. Mark, you've been wanting to talk about that one for a little bit. But you also wanted to talk about the latest with the Bitcoin being under attack by the old money people. This isn't really news in that the old money people have been attacking Bitcoin for a long time, but the news is the names of the people doing the attacking this time. So this time, Ben Bernanke has lined up to take his shots at Bitcoin. You know, the former Fed chairman who took over after Greenspan, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Greenspan, then Bernanke.
He's also the one that said, what? Housing bubble? There's no housing bubble.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right.
And Greenspan, that conservative hero, free marketeer, said that he had, I don't remember the exact quote, but basically said, I was wrong in thinking that freedom and markets could self-correct and so forth. They cannot.
He changed his mind because he used to be a gold bug back in the day, right?
Yeah.
He sort of turned into a gold bug back when he got out of office, too.
Did he again?
Yeah.
So Ben Bernanke, according to Cointelegraph.com, which is a great Bitcoin-related news site, the former chairman of the Federal Reserve made his views against Bitcoin clear at a conference recently organized by Ripple in Toronto. Ripple's one of the competitors to Bitcoin out there. I think it's the number 3 cryptocurrency at the moment by market cap size. Undermining the government, not a recipe for success, he claims. Echoing the views of J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, Bernanke feels that the decentralized nature of Bitcoin, which puts it outside government control, will trigger its downfall. Speaking at Swell, the 3-day conference organized by Ripple in Toronto, Bernanke said, quote, Bitcoin is an attempt to replace fiat currency and evade regulation and government intervention. I don't think that's going to be a success.
So, okay, the idea that the government is going to crack down on Bitcoin, well, that's already sort of been happening all along.
The Chinese government made the headlines most recently for targeting Bitcoin exchanges, I believe it was, and the Bitcoin price did take a bit of a tumble after that news came out, but it's gone back up and now is at record highs within the last week.
Right, and what would have to happen is that all these governments would have to get together and agree. Bitcoin creates competition between states. There are plenty of countries right now, most of them are small in geographic areas, that are very, very into the idea of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and whatever, bring your money here, is how they're feeling.
Sure.
It would take quite a few of these the mega states to crack down at the same time. Because try to imagine this for a second. What's it like for American citizens if the United States cracks down on Bitcoin, but China and Russia don't? Then all that money is going, all that innovation, all that other stuff is going to flow that direction
wherever it's not regulated.
Right. It's like saying that, this internet technology it's terrifying and scary. We're going to crack down on the internet in this country, and we're going to be so much better off than the countries that have the internet. And you're going to put your country way, way behind
no doubt.
The ball. I mean, this will hasten the demise of the already dying U.S. state. Sorry to spring this one on you, Americans. Your government's already going down. If it bans Bitcoin, it's just going to go down faster.
Yeah, that's a good point. And look at countries like Venezuela, for instance. Once again, Venezuela is in the news for Bitcoin-related news. I was looking, it was just today I saw a story about this, and it's similar to a more detailed story we read, I don't know, like a year ago, about how there are Bitcoin miners in Venezuela who are illegal, meaning that it is illegal for them to commit the act of Bitcoin mining. And the reason for that is not because Bitcoin mining is necessarily illegal on its own right. It's that using the power that the state provides, because in Venezuela, the state runs the power company, and the state also subsidizes the power. So, Venezuela is a pretty messed up place as is, but one of the things that the people are able to take advantage of is the subsidized power, where you can get power for basically next to nothing there, especially if you're in an industrial area where it tends to not brown out as often.
Yeah, but they have to chase these people down all the time trying to figure out where they are.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you've got an actual crackdown going on in Venezuela where the secret police are investigating and trying to find. They're looking at power bills, kind of like how the cops in the U.S. look at your power bill to see if you're growing marijuana or something because of the lights and the extra power that you need. They're doing the same thing in Venezuela where they're seeing power spikes on a bill. They're going to investigate and trying to bust Bitcoin miners. But people are still buying Bitcoin miners over there. They're still getting into it.
So
even though they face prison.
Sure, Ian. Look, obviously, people do drugs even though there's a war on drugs.
Sure.
People do, smoke marijuana even though there's been a war on marijuana in the past. But we can see how the state does stifle
no doubt.
the growth in those areas and
because
those
they can't
sorts of things.
openly market it. They can't openly grow it.
So I don't
sell
think that I would call, by any stretch of the imagination, the state cracking down, any state cracking down on Bitcoin, good news.
I didn't say it was good news.
I just want the states that are presuming this is a good idea, these legacy bankers, people like Ben Bernanke, who's quoted as saying, "We've never had a decline in housing prices on a nationwide basis." So what is more likely is that house prices will slow, maybe stabilize. Might slow consumption spending a bit. I don't think it's going to drive the economy too far from its full employment path, though. I mean, these bankers who are wrong over and over again and are paid to be wrong, right? Like the government gives them lots of money to be wrong. Listening to them is only going to drive your nation state further into the grave. That's what my concern is. Look, I understand governments can put a real hamper on Bitcoin. That's real. Let's not think that just because Bitcoin prices are booming right now that they're always going to do that.
No, it could go down tomorrow.
Sure.
You never know.
You never know.
I wasn't saying that it was good that Venezuela was cracking down on Bitcoin. I was just giving an example of even when it's being cracked down upon, there are still people mining, still people buying Bitcoin miners and getting into mining because there's money to be made. In that case,
Europe and many parts across Southeast Asia are very, very interested in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. At this point, I believe this root system is too deep to do anything.
Be undone.
Yeah, to be undone. There was a time when Bitcoin could have been, in my estimation, burned out and killed by the forces, the powers that be.
Yeah,
but I think it's too late for that.
If anything, it's going to be burned out by its own infighting. I mean, if anything damages Bitcoin, it's going to be the people inside of Bitcoin rather than the governments. But that's not going to put an end to cryptocurrency.
That won't put an end to crypto. And frankly, if that happens, fine. I'm ready for the new, better cryptocurrency that comes out anyway.
Yeah.
There are better cryptocurrencies out there. In my opinion, Dash is a better cryptocurrency than Bitcoin is. It just doesn't have the name recognition.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have the network effect or anything.
It doesn't have that network effect.
But they're working on it.
Yeah.
And as people start getting fed up with the mess ups and the infighting in the Bitcoin community, they're going to look harder and harder at other options.
And there are probably better things than Dash out there too.
Probably.
It's just that
they're not in the top 10, so we don't know what they are.
Right.
Because there's literally hundreds of these things. I mean, you can go to coincap.io and just scroll on down through hundreds and hundreds of wannabe Bitcoins.
I like Monero, but the development isn't there.
So, toll-free number if you want to join us, 855-450 free like freedom. Bernanke attributed the current run-up in the price of Bitcoin to its speculative nature and that felt Bitcoin hasn't proven itself as a transactional currency. In his opinion, the government will eventually step in to prevent Bitcoin from rivaling fiat currency. Now, I do agree with him that Bitcoin has not proven itself as a transactional currency recently because it's basically broken at the microtransaction levels or smaller transaction levels. I just went to buy I spent some Bitcoin at a new business that's taking Bitcoin here in town today. I bought a soft drink, iced tea, $2.50 iced tea, but I had to spend over $1 on top of that in fees just to buy this thing. Now, I do that because I'm a fanatic and I want people to understand cryptocurrency, but the average person, they're not going to do that. So Bitcoin at the moment is broken, and we got more to say coming up.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The Crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the Crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the Crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the Crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the Crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you are behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com and click on Specials. That's infidelbodyarmor.com.
Dr. Carolyn Dean wants you to have a free chapter of her new book, The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition, and it's available at magmiracle.com. In your free chapter, Dr. Carolyn Dean explains how magnesium is essential to support the structure and function and overall health of your body. Your free chapter is your guide to learn how to support your heart, bone, metabolic, lung, and mental health with this powerful mineral. The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition is available on Amazon, but right now get a free chapter at magmiracle.com, spelled M-A-G, miracle.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting vandykemortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free like freedom is our number that allows you to take control of the airwaves. Bring up anything that you want. 855 450 3733. You know, they say you don't take flack unless you're over the target. Well, Bitcoin is taking a lot of flack from the people in the banking industry. The Jamie Dimon, we talked about his comments recently. He's the head of J.P. Morgan Chase, the biggest bank in the United States, probably one of the biggest ones in the world. Mark, you and I were just looking at the market caps of the banks the other day because Bitcoin was in the news because it has crossed $100 billion market cap, meaning the world total value of all the Bitcoins in existence is over $100 billion worth. And by the way, a year ago, it was $10 billion. So you've seen it rise from $10 billion to $100 billion in market cap.
Yeah, that's about right.
1 year.
Yeah.
1 year. So you got Jamie Dimon out there who's saying that I don't want to talk about Bitcoin, and then goes on and comments about Bitcoin in multiple interviews and attacks it over and over again. There's something to it, if the bankers are on the attack.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, what that says to me is just like he has a strong opinion. That strong opinion's driven by, I'm going to go ahead and say, fear, right?
Sure.
Bitcoin is a technology intended to make irrelevant banks.
It's literally intended to undermine the old financial system.
Right.
Absolutely.
The whole idea is that you can bank on your cell phone.
You're your own bank.
Right. You're your own bank. You can do your banking on your electronic devices. Obviously, you don't want to have every penny you own just on some cell phone that you're wandering the streets in by any stretch of the imagination. You don't want to be one password away from your fortune. But it gives you the ability to control that. Jamie Dimon doesn't want that. Jamie Dimon is from a legacy system that has been in control of your wealth for thousands of years and certainly doesn't want to see that go away. Well, will he get his friends in the government to put up roadblocks to Bitcoin? I suspect.
Whatever he can do.
I suspect there will be some over time. They're
doing it in New York State.
I don't know that they'll do anything to stop it. In all likelihood, governments around the world would like to stop the internet entirely.
Sure.
But they haven't been able to do it.
It's been a major, the internet's been a major undermining of the government's propaganda out there. Anyway, if you want to learn more about Bitcoin, I'd recommend starting over at Bitcoin.com. They've got a great introduction to what Bitcoin is. A lot of people, they've heard the term. They maybe have seen some of the numbers and the amazing price of the $100 billion market cap. One Bitcoin worth $6,000 or close to it. I think it dropped a little bit today to like $5,900. $5,900 US dollars per Bitcoin. So people might have heard these. They might have heard the headlines, but they don't really know what it is. There is a bit of a learning curve. There's new concepts here to grasp. And what is a decentralized cryptocurrency? Well, if you want to learn about it, go to Bitcoin.com. You want to get the latest news about Bitcoin, you should go to news.bitcoin.com. They've got some good coverage there, keeping up to date with what's going on in the Bitcoin universe. And it's going to be a dramatic month over the next 4 weeks. Let me tell you, we've got a lot to cover on that alone. The upcoming forks, there's going to be one next week where Bitcoin could schism into 2 Bitcoins as it had done in August. So we may have 3 Bitcoins within the next week or so, competing different types of Bitcoin.
By the end of next month, 4 perhaps.
And by the end of next month, it could be 4. And the 4th one may be a major contentious moment for Bitcoin. So we're going to tell you about all of that as time goes on here. But back to the attacks on Bitcoin. And by the way, do want to let you know you can call in to join us here. The discussion is available to you, and you can bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Bernanke is on the attack, the former Federal Reserve chairman, saying that he believes that Bitcoin is not going to be a success. Well, now, it's already a success. I mean, by all measures, any measure you could possibly look at, Bitcoin having risen over the last not quite a decade, 8 or 9 years, to $6,000 per Bitcoin. It's a new high. That 6,100 was the latest record high of Bitcoin. It was set within the last several days from zero. It came from zero to do this. It's being accepted by thousands upon thousands of businesses as large as Microsoft, Newegg, Overstock.com. I mean, these are big Dell computers. These are big companies. Also, mom and pop businesses. We just went to a local burger shop here in town where we paid for our meals with Bitcoin today. So everything from mom and pop shops all the way on up to mega corporations. Steam, an online, huge online video gaming platform. There's just so many examples of this. There's no doubt Bitcoin's already a success. I mean, will it stay on top forever? Probably not.
I don't know what the percentages of top 50 websites are that accept Bitcoin, but it's a lot of them.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
WikiLeaks.
Yep. Let me give you a Ben Bernanke quote here just to take home with you.
A little more flavor.
Yeah, from February the 15th, 2006, taking the Wayback Machine
before Bitcoin.
Yep. Housing markets are cooling a bit. Our expectation is the decline in activity or the slowing in activity will be moderate, and that housing prices will probably continue to rise.
Wah, wah, wah.
Right. Then, the catastrophe occurs and people lose, their shirts.
So if you would have listened to his advice and invested in housing at that moment, you'd have been
He's either
screwed.
a fool or lying.
Or maybe both. Probably a liar, though.
Who knows?
So going on here, he dismissed the possibility of Bitcoin becoming a successful alternative to fiat. Bernanke, however, was all praise for the blockchain, which is the technology that is behind.
Banks love the blockchain. The blockchain's a great piece of technology because here it is again, people. Bitcoin made incorporated a groundbreaking piece of technology in its overall technology to destroy banking, to give you the power over banking, to take the power of banking away from banks and give it to you. Of course, banks like the blockchain. The blockchain is great banking technology incorporated into the greater bank-killing technology that is Bitcoin.
The blockchain, for those that don't know, is the guts of the Bitcoin service or network. It is essentially, it sounds complicated, it's just a public ledger, basically, that is verified, that is held decentralized, distributed, meaning that there are thousands of copies of it all around the globe in various different places. It can't be taken down. It can't be hacked because it's cryptographically secure. And it is a way to prove that a transaction happened the way it said it did, the way that that is publicly visible, so anybody can look at it, anybody can audit it, and it's amazing technology.
It's not a surprise.
It's trustless.
Yes,
and the trustless aspect of it is what cuts banks out. You don't need a
banks
third
have
party.
been counting on your trust for millennia and undermining that trust for millennia. And what a surprise. Bankers like the technology that is incorporated in Bitcoin. They just don't want you to have it.
Right. Bernanke said, quote, "The Fed, the Bank of England, and Japan are very supportive of these technologies because they'll improve payment systems," unquote. He praised Ripple, which is one of the competitors to Bitcoin, for working with regulators and observed that a blockchain-based system might have prevented hackers from robbing $80 million from the Central Bank of Bangladesh. Ben Bernanke's views on Bitcoin have changed over the years. In 2013, during a Senate committee hearing, he called virtual currencies innovative payment systems and said that the Fed had no plan to regulate them. In 2015, he said Bitcoin's volatility and anonymous nature were serious problems. The market, however, seems to be ignoring Bernanke and Damon's views on Bitcoin and pushing it to scale to even higher peaks. And, of course, some are saying that Bitcoin is in a bubble right now. And that it could pop and go down dramatically, which is what happened back in 2013.
It could be that but does anyone remember the dot-com bubbles and all these things that went on? Yeah, I mean, bubbles are a natural part of any sort of phenomenon. Does that mean Bitcoin's going to go away? I don't know. Look, I mean, we had a Bitcoin, there was a rise up of Bitcoin all the way to like $1,200
in 2013.
In 2013, then it drops down over time all the way to $200.
It hurt a lot of people in that case.
We stuck with it the whole time here on Free Talk Live, and I continue to say if a Bitcoin's worth $1, it's worth $1 million because I think, and I don't know if it's Bitcoin that's going to take the final flag and run across the finish line, or if it's some other cryptocurrency. And for me, it's the concept of a decentralized token that people can exchange in a trustless, bankless environment. That is
that
what
will live. That will live on.
Yeah, that's what Bitcoin means to me when I say that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Is it going to be Bitcoin? Is it going to be one of the competitors to Bitcoin? I simply can't say that. But
it seems like it's looking less and less like it's going to be Bitcoin as time goes on, as it's fracturing, it's now schisming into multiple Bitcoins.
It could be that Bitcoin remains a store of value, and then these other coins are the ways that people, conduct business. Because it's a lot. I'll tell you, Ian, I much prefer to exchange a Dash with you for 2 cents than I do a Bitcoin for $2.
No doubt about it. Your thoughts are welcome here. You can join us at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Another old banking system participant, Goldman Sachs. They are on the attack against Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We'll share that with you, and you can share your thoughts with us. Hour number 3 is on the way. Plus, Florida's cracking down on freedom.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, October 22nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.04 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,874. Antiwar.com reports a new report from the Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction warns that U.S. efforts to bring Afghan troops to the United States for training has been greatly undermined by the unacceptably high number of Afghan troops who run away as soon as they arrive. Some 13% of Afghan trainees go missing, with the majority of them junior officers. 152 Afghan trainees have gone AWOL in the course of this operation, and more than half, 83 of them, have never been found. The Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction warns the missing troops are bad for morale of the troops that stay for the training and also for the Afghan military units inside Afghanistan. He also warned the number may continue to rise as mounting violence makes it easier for Afghans to seek asylum. Many of the asylum seekers are fleeing into Canada, believing it to be a safe place to seek sanctuary from being arrested for fleeing from the military. Since many are able to credibly cite safety concerns, including Taliban threats to relatives, such claims of sanctuary have been pretty successful. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a California judge tossed out a $417 million verdict against Johnson & Johnson, the second verdict involving its baby powder that was reversed this week. In a 51-page ruling late Friday, California Superior Court Judge Marin Nelson granted a new trial after finding serious misconduct on the part of the jury, insufficient evidence, and excessive damages. In California, 2 months ago, a jury from Los Angeles awarded Eva Echevarria $70 million in compensatory damages and $300 $347 million in punitive damages, the largest verdict against the company to date. Echevarria, who started using the talc powder product when she was 11, was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2007. Judge Nelson said that under the law, the parent company, which is a legally separate entity from its subsidiary, cannot be held legally liable for non-disclosures for a product it does not manufacture or market. The judge also said there was no convincing evidence of any of the Johnson & Johnson companies acted with malice and should have to pay punitive damages.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Saturday that subject to receipt of further information, he planned to allow the opening of long secret files on the November 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy, due to be released next week. Politico magazine earlier quoted Trump administration and other U.S. government officials as saying the president would almost certainly block the release of information from some of the thousands of classified files, which the U.S. National Archives is scheduled to make public by an October 26th deadline. Trump said on a tweet, subject to the receipt of further information, I will be allowing, as president, the long blocked and classified JFK files to be opened. Thousands of books, articles, TV shows, movies, and documentaries have been produced about the assassination, and surveys have shown a majority of Americans still distrust official evidence pointing to Lee Harvey Oswald as the sole shooter. Over the years, the National Archives has released most documents related to the assassination, but a final batch remains, amounting to tens of thousands of pages, and only the president has authority to decide whether some should continue to be withheld or released in redacted form. The Washington Post and other media have quoted officials as saying that government agencies have lobbied Trump to withhold some of the documents, arguing that they could expose relatively recent intelligence and law enforcement operations. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
For over 12 years, Halverson Enterprises CEO Peter Weathers has taken a hands-on approach in all aspects of the tech firm's growth and day-to-day business. But employees say the executive's true talent lies in his unique ability to recognize great ideas and then absolutely ruin them.
For as long as I've worked here, Peter has been able to sit down in a meeting, listen to a million different ideas, pick out the one that makes the most sense creatively and financially, and then totally destroy it until there's basically nothing worthwhile about it left. He's remarkable.
Employees throughout the company say they're most impressed by Weathers' ability to water down promising ideas with meaningless jargon, consistently choose the wrong person to head up every project, and inject virtually every halfway decent thought with his own short-sighted and terrible insights.
At our all-hands meeting the other week, our team put forth a very feasible plan to boost productivity, and it was really incredible to see Peter's mind at work, just taking every good aspect of our proposal and dismantling it like a small child.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
Me, Johnny Ray.
And me, Mark.
We've got a toll-free number that allows you to take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever you want if you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. For those of you just tuning in, we talked about Catalonia independence earlier, the latest on that situation. And then we got into the ongoing attacks against Bitcoin. Not from inside of Bitcoin, because that's a whole other controversy. And we will be talking about that at some point, probably this week, maybe tonight, I don't know. Of course, you can call in and bring up whatever you want about this or some other topic entirely. It's completely up to you. But we were talking about the attacks from outside of Bitcoin, the attacks against it from the old guard, old school banking industry, the big names like Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. We've covered his attacks against Bitcoin within the last few weeks. Just in the last hour, Ben Bernanke is on the attack against Bitcoin while speaking from a conference organized by one of Bitcoin's competitors, by the way, Ripple. And now you got Goldman Sachs weighing in at an interesting time when Goldman Sachs, according to a CNBC article, has less than $100 billion market cap, meaning its total value is less than $100 billion, and Bitcoin now has more than $100 billion market cap.
So just as they get surpassed in market cap,
they got something to say.
They got a little crap talking to do.
According to CNBC, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are not the new gold, says Goldman Sachs in a note, advising investors that precious metals remain a relevant asset class in portfolios. In a note to its clients earlier this week, Goldman detailed the benefits of holding gold in a portfolio. The investment bank said, quote, "The use of precious metals is not a historical accident. They are still the best long-term store of value out of the known elements." And I agree. I mean, there's no doubt that gold and silver are great forms of hedges against inflation, for instance. Now, I don't agree with Sachs or Goldman Sachs that one should hold it in a portfolio. I think you should hold the gold and silver. I think you ought to physically have it.
I'm not sure that I entirely agree with you.
Why would you want to put Goldman Sachs in charge of your gold?
I wouldn't. But I do believe that there are vaults around the world that are safer than me digging a hole out of my place. Why? Because if if you have enough wealth to store, somebody's going to figure that out, and all they have to do is come to your house, hold a gun to your kid's head, and say, "Where's the gold?" And then they can go out there at 4:00 in the morning with a shovel and get it.
The government can do the same thing, and that's exactly what they did to the Liberty Dollar when they came with men with guns to the mint, where there was plenty of security around the mint that held the Liberty Dollar, and they went up with their guns and they said, "We're from the government. We're here to take your gold," and they let him right in.
Yep, and it's true. And the gold was confiscated here in the U.S.
Back in the 30s,
back in the 30s by FDR.
It can happen again.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't hold my gold in the U.S.
Okay. So you trust the other governments to keep your gold safe?
There are governments that I would trust more to keep my gold safe than the United States government.
Well, one of the problems with these other people holding your gold for you, Mark, as we learned years ago, because we used to be big gold and silver buffs, and
I still have
some.
Silver.
Still support it as don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just buy all Bitcoin. It's always good to have different investments. Put your money in your wealth in different places. But we were told that there was a lot of suspicion, and I don't know if there was a lot of proof, but there was a lot of suspicion that these portfolio people would say that you had gold, but then in point of fact, you didn't actually have the gold.
Yeah.
That they would sell you numbers on a screen that you could look at and say, "Oh, you got 10 ounces of gold," or whatever amount that you have. We're keeping it safe for you. And as long as you don't go to them and say, "I want my gold," well, then they never get caught, right? As long as as long as a small portion of their customers are the only amount of their customers that actually ever try to cash in the gold, ever try to acquire it, if that's even an option with whatever investment that you've purchased. That just doesn't happen often enough. People trust these companies, but what if they're lying? You don't know.
The claim is that there's like 100 times more gold on paper than there is in real life.
Right.
And you would.
I don't trust that. That doesn't sound like a safe place at all to store something of value. So anyway, gold. I'm just saying. I agree with Goldman Sachs that gold is definitely a long-term store of value. It's a good way to hedge against inflation. Historically, it's done a good job of kind of keeping people ahead of the rate of inflation. So that much is true. But they also addressed, according to the story here at CNBC, the rise of cryptocurrencies. Many commentators have dubbed Bitcoin as digital gold because of the fact that it has a finite supply and has at times seen price rises due to geopolitical tensions. Goldman concluded that Bitcoin, however, is not a good store of value versus gold. Quote, "Gold wins out over cryptocurrencies in a majority of the key characteristics of money." I would like to know what they mean by that, because it seems to me that cryptocurrency is much more useful as far as money is concerned than gold. I mean, you can't easily send gold to somebody. You
can't make a necklace out of cryptocurrency.
Well, but he was talking about characteristics of money. So necklaces don't count as a characteristic of money.
Nope.
So we're just talking about the usefulness of gold versus the usefulness as far as money is concerned. I mean, obviously, gold, you can weigh things down with it, but that's not what we're talking about with usefulness as money. So in order to send somebody cryptocurrency, you just enter in some characters on a computer screen and hit send. And it's there. It's there within moments. With gold, if I want to send you gold, I got to go and get some packing materials. I got to make sure it's, packed up real nice so it doesn't jingle around, to make sure that the mailman's going to know what's in there, because if the mailman knows what's in there, they might break it open and have access.
Can't send it UPS, can't send it FedEx because they won't accept it. Has to go USPS because it's gold or silver.
Well, you could. You just can't tell them what's in the box.
Oh, good. Now we're lying to people.
But yeah, I mean, it's not easy to send gold, and you also can't easily divide it up. This is one of the more important aspects of money. One of the reasons why paper money replaced gold was because it was easier to, have different divisions, different denominations of that paper money. It also weighed less as well. Of course, Bitcoin weighs nothing because it's digital, but you can break it down to 8 decimal points, so it's even more useful as far as divisibility than even cash. And it's certainly more useful as far as divisibility than gold. So it can be sent and received faster, more efficiently, without fraud. How about gold as far as fraud is concerned? How about people selling you something as gold or silver that in point of fact is not? The silver sellers, like the little shops that you go to, they have testing methods to check your silver to see if it's real silver, right? There's different ways to do that. There's like chemical tests.
You buy gold and silver from a guy on the street in a trench coat, perhaps you're not getting gold or silver.
Right, unless you happen to have a chemical test kit, in your jacket pocket or something like that.
If it's gold-plated, won't it come out as gold? And then
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know enough about it. I don't know enough about how to test gold. I've just always trusted, and here we're coming back to the trustless idea of Bitcoin. You always just trust the gold dealers are being honest with you. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. So it's just a lot easier to get into cryptocurrency. You don't have to buy a whole ounce of gold. Of course, you can buy, grams of gold in the right place, but then you're paying through the nose. If you buy small divisions of gold, you're paying far above whatever the spot price is for that. Whereas with cryptocurrency, when you buy cryptocurrency, you're going to pay more than spot, but it's not going to be much more. You can get it down to 1% at the right exchanges. So it's easier to acquire. It's easier to spend. It's easier to hold. It doesn't take up any physical space. It's easier to, make purchases with, as far as, I go into Corner News here in Keene, New Hampshire. I want to buy something off the shelf. I can pull out my phone, and within an instant, it's done. And there's no change that I have to, the cashier doesn't have to fumble around. You don't have to worry about the cashier miscounting the change or shortchanging you. That's not a possibility with Bitcoin. So it's just so much easier. If they were to accept Bitcoin, if they were to accept gold, I can't even imagine how much of a hassle that transaction would be. Yep. Okay, I'm going to give you this 1/10 of an ounce of gold, and then we need to calculate what the price of gold is right now, and then you're going to have to give me some cash in return, because you can't just divvy up a piece of gold. You can't cut up a piece of gold there behind the counter and weigh it. It's not even a possibility to use that as money. There's more coming up here in moments. You can take control of the airwaves. It's Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.LRN.FM. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You like your friends, and you like LRN.FM, or you wouldn't be listening. So like your friends enough to share something you like with them. Please share that you're listening to LRN.FM on your favorite social networking site.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything you want. Bitcoin under attack by the old banking industry, as, well, you would expect from an innovative technology that threatens the entirety of banking. You can share your thoughts with us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The Blink Home Security System is one of our newest advertisers here on Free Talk Live. Even Mark was able to install this on his own without even having to call me for help. Yep. I am so proud of you.
Working fine. I got 2 notifications this morning about movement in my house.
What was it?
Me going to the bathroom. One time going past, one time coming back.
So, and you can set it up to where it only gives you those notifications during certain time frames, right? So I presume that was during the middle of the night?
Yes, I've got it set for certain times, yep.
So you go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. It's a completely wireless system. You don't have to, drill holes, run wires. You don't have to set up a kludgy DVR system. It's all It's all done wirelessly, and it shows up right there on your smartphone. In fact, that's how you set it up, is you use your smartphone's Wi-Fi to connect to the little Blink box and then connect the box to the cameras, and it's super fast. It took maybe about 10 minutes, I think, to get it up and rolling. BlinkProtect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. You get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge for 1, or order more if you want. Go to BlinkProtect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we go to Carson in Columbus, Ohio, we got more about Bitcoin being under attack by Goldman Sachs on the way. Carson, you're on Free Talk Live.
First of all, I just want to say that I agree with you guys from last week. There has been a lack of good quality prank calling.
No
you
doubt.
guys used to have some real humdiggers, and used to be like that after midnight show when they did open lines. But what I wanted to talk about was the practicality of the liberty movement. And the fact that I think it's a very good thing, but to achieve the abolishment of the state overnight just isn't practical.
Nobody thinks that's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no button to push.
Well, but what I was saying is I've been experiencing some things on Facebook when I talk to some members of the liberty movement, and I push my philosophy of, well, let's work within the system since we can't get rid of the system. Since we're stuck with the system, might as well use the system. And it seems to me that it would be a boon to the liberty movement to control candidate selection in primaries, so that instead of the typical Congress critters that you guys are so fond of talking about, we actually
I don't like talking about them.
Oh, okay. Well, Congress critters is how I always refer to them. I just meant that you call them Congress critters, and you seem to like doing that.
I would call them scum of the earth. I don't call them.
I call them Congress critters.
Oh, okay.
Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's been a couple months since I've listened. My apologies.
Are you calling from jail?
No, I'm calling from a bus.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it's loud. It's really loud.
I wonder what the people on the bus think about this.
I don't know, but my point was this, is that it would behoove us to, since we're stuck with the system, to try and make sure that we get the best result possible out of the system. And I just always get pushback from people who say, oh, I don't want to participate, or the system is illegitimate. Okay, it's illegitimate. I agree. It's people exerting violence over other people, which is wrong. But the fact of the matter is we're stuck with it, so why not make the best of it?
And you're saying you hear a lot of this on Facebook?
Yeah, well, no, this is my point. The point what I hear on Facebook in a lot of the liberty groups I'm a member of is the exact opposite, that they don't want to get involved, that basically...
Well, we have one of those guys in our studio with us. He's Jonny Ray, and he is completely against getting involved in the system. I am involved in working inside the system. Mark, to some extent, you are also in support of working inside the system.
I'm a delegate to the state convention.
So, yeah, on this show, we have a difference of opinion. But, Jonny Ray, I mean, do you want to weigh in and try to convince this guy that he should forget about the system?
Yeah, Carson, I would say that...
I'm going to put you on hold, Carson, just because it's too noisy. Go ahead.
That people should do what makes them happy. And for some people, your Darryl Perrys of the world, they're just a certain type of people that politics, the ins and outs of it really appeal to them, and it makes them happy to go into that arena. But I think that freedom is something that mankind has been getting more and more of throughout his whole history.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of freedom that the three of us hope for is coming, whether we like it or not. And regardless of what the politicians do, I think you should get involved with politics if it makes you happy. But but
not everybody has to abandon the state.
No, but I don't think you should think that is really helping a lot. I think that when freedom comes, it's that politics is going to be a few steps behind.
That's always true. What is it going to look like, Jonny Ray, when freedom comes?
Mayors are going to be, at that time, they're just slowly going to devolve into ribbon cutters,
mm-hmm.
and they're going to have a what do you call it?
That's basically all the mayor of Keene is.
An honorary role. The powers that they have are just going to whittle away. They're going to wither on the vine.
That is what Karl Marx suggested would happen to the state when socialism, turned into communism. That everybody would be so happy with the way the government ran that it would just go away. But it seems like every step of freedom up to this point has required the tireless work of people, and in many cases, certainly not every case by any stretch of the imagination, but in many cases within the system. I'm not saying you owe your fellow man work within the system, but it does seem like, I can tell you from more than a decade here in New Hampshire, it seems like that's what's most effective.
It's a slow process.
Yeah.
And I agree with Johnny Ray that it is slow, brooding, frustrating, angering, difficult process to work within the system. And I don't blame anybody for not wanting to, okay? I don't feel like you should have to. I agree with Johnny Ray. Do what feels, what is calling you? What can you do to advance freedom today? Well, it's a different answer for everybody. Everybody has different tactics. Everybody has different, opinions. They have different ways of going about accomplishing their goals. But without a major renaissance in how people think, we're not going to see the end of the state because people believe in it right now, Johnny Ray. So, are you expecting there to be some kind of renaissance in thought about how people look at the idea of the state sometime in the future, and that's what's going to end it? That people finally, wake up someday or over time realize that this is a terrible, antiquated system, a violent system, and it needs to be abolished and replaced with nothing. I mean, is that what you're expecting to happen?
Hard to say. Could be some kind of horrible event like a betrayal where the state commits violence on its own citizens.
That's happened many times, though. And the refrain is always, "Oh, those darn politicians! We need to get them out of office. Put the good ones in."
I'm thinking a false flag attack that gets uncovered, and the people see it,
like the Gulf of Tonkin. There's more coming up here in moments. We'll continue. You can share your thoughts. Thanks, Carson, for the call tonight.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs lights wet wood, floats, and can even burn on water or in any weather. Sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency or camp stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils 20 ounces of water in under 3 minutes with controllable heat and temps from 425 to 1500 degrees. Free shipping. Go to instafire.com and use discount code radio30 up to 3 times for 30% off your order. InstaFire. Fire in an instant.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
Also, don't forget, one of the ways that you can help support Free Talk Live is by shopping with us. You go to shop.freetalklive.com. You'll find links to some online stores like Walmart, where you can go and get your shopping taken care of and help Free Talk Live all at the same time. So everybody wins. You get the same great prices you're used to. Just start your shopping through shop.freetalklive.com. As we continue here, your calls and thoughts welcome. Let's talk to Lumpy. He's in Slaveachusetts, he says. Hey, Lumpy, you're on Free Talk Live.
It's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Hey, man, what's on your mind tonight?
I just want to say I love all three of you guys. I always have, always will.
It's been too long since we've seen you up here. For listeners that don't know, Lumpy here was one of the earlier movers for the New Hampshire freedom migration. You had to leave, I think, due to some family-related issues, and you've been
My dad was dying.
Yeah. And you were in Michigan for a while. It sounds like you're a little closer now, back to a little closer to New Hampshire.
Wheaton, Michigan is awesome, guys. I know you probably had some of it.
Yes.
And you're welcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ian's probably had weed in every state he's been in.
I don't think so. Anyway,
So my call tonight is about this is important. This is something that's been going through my mind for a while because I got the chance to try a couple of weeks ago, and it's been a long time since I've been able to do this. Some lysergic dimethicone. That's right, acid.
Okay.
And it's been years since I've tried something like that. And there's which is an organic substance that actually grows on rye seeds. Okay. And let me tell you, since that point, I felt a whole hell of a lot better about my own life, and in a lot of situations that I've been questioning for quite a while. I also know that people like Barry Cooper are running the clinic for drug addicts down in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
That's right. Barry Cooper is helping people with like ibogaine treatments and ayahuasca journeys, and he's doing some good work.
I've had friends who have died from heroin addiction, heroin problems, the benzos, all those benzodiazepines, all that stuff. Their brains get screwed up. Adderall, all that stuff. They get, they have to, these are people who are just, they're humans. They're wonderful. They're capable of anything. Yet they die, or they have whatever. They have misguided ways they're trying to find solutions or answers or what have you. These things, once we get this stuff not just legalized, but get the government and other people to just mind their own stinking business, the people can treat themselves with stuff like this, and it's helped me immensely. I've been probably not the happiest guy for a while, and it's made me have some more insight.
Did you take it for therapeutic purposes? Was that kind of the purpose of why you dosed?
No.
So you were taking it for fun, but then it ended up being a therapeutic benefit to you?
Yes, absolutely. And the sex was good, too. But
I got to say, I'm not going to say who it was, but somebody who's been on the air with us here on Free Talk Live in recent months has also took LSD for the first time recently and said it was and they did take it for a therapeutic purpose, although it wasn't with a therapist, which might be even more helpful. But they said that it was very beneficial, that they thought that it was well worth the journey. Now, of course, we've read studies here and talked about studies that they've been done on very small sample sizes where they've looked at MDMA, for instance, and LSD or mushrooms, and they found that these drugs that the government has deemed to be illegal and dangerous, that they've actually helped people with major issues, like MDMA has been helpful with PTSD. Go ahead.
I'm not sure what MDMA is. To me, I think it's speed. But all I know is it's like voting. If it really did anything for you, if it did anything good, then the a-holes would make it illegal. The social justice warriors, the busybodies, the nosy, those type of people would make it illegal and send
They did that in Catalonia a couple of weeks ago.
What happened in Catalonia?
Made voting illegal.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, well, yeah. I've been listening to you guys, so absolutely, yeah. And thank you guys for covering Catalonia, by the way, because nobody else is covering that.
Yeah, it's even harder to get coverage of Cameroon. They're having a movement for independence there too, but we can't get any news.
So just before anybody jumps to any conclusions, I want to make sure that we're clear. LSD is definitely a psychedelic substance. It is an entheogen. It is something that deserves a lot of research before you get into it. It shouldn't be something that's taken lightly. It is it can be a very intense time. And you had said you'd done it previously in your life, but it had been quite a while, right?
Yeah, years, yeah.
And the opportunity presented itself, and you're feeling better for it. Obviously, everybody's got their own place in life where they're at, and I would say to somebody out there, if you're thinking about doing something like this, there are some precautions that you need to take. One is you need to make sure it's something you're ready for. I mean, you can't really know what LSD is like until you actually take it. But if you are afraid, do not do LSD. If you are angry, you should not do LSD. You need to have the right.
Don't drink and do things like mushrooms.
Right.
Alcohol. Sorry, Johnny. Johnny Ray. Sorry.
No, it's
alcohol
good.
Sometimes not good with these things.
Yeah, I'm just saying that he's, for some reason, he's connecting alcohol and me.
With you.
You did run a still at one point.
Oh, that must be it.
But yeah, you're right. Alcohol does not mix with psychedelic substances. It's a bad idea. In addition, you ought to research it thoroughly. So go to Erowid.org, EROWID, Erowid.org. Great website to give you the basics on LSD, everything from frequently asked questions to trip reports, which will give you other people. So a little bit of insight into what it was like for others.
Lumpy, Johnny Ray here. I wanted to ask you a question.
I'm not going to say anything about alcohol.
Okay.
All right.
This past week, some of the headlines I've seen related to what we're talking about reference a study that this Michael Mithoefer did, and it said, the headline said something about how LSD can be sort of a reset for your brain. Would you describe the experience that you've had like that?
Yes, and I desperately needed one. Yes, and and since then things have been absolutely different. My insight, the way I feel about a lot of things is not just back to where it was before, but it's helped. It's better. I'm not perfect. I got a long way to go in life. It's a journey,
Sure.
but it's certainly helped a whole lot.
Well, I appreciate you calling in tonight. It's actually interesting you called because thank you for the call, Lumpy, and hopefully we'll see you back up here in New Hampshire sooner rather than later.
That's my home always. Thank you.
Brother, we'll look forward to it. Thanks for the call tonight. So yeah, check out arrowwood.org. It's interesting he brings that up because actually LSD was in the news recently over at vice.com where they have a detailed piece on Norway. Headline, LSD's health benefits convince Norway to relax punishment for possession, while the rest of the world continues to resist. I'm not going to get into the details on this article. I mean, it is pages and pages long. Very, very interesting stuff. But we can share that on our Facebook and Twitter. But that's what we need to see is we need to see serious scientific studies into this. And there is an organization here in the United States. It's called MAPS, Multidisciplinary something Psychedelic Studies Association. Yeah, for Psychedelic Studies. And they've done some really interesting work. They're the ones that are doing the MDMA testing that's actually been approved by the government for them to do.
I would want to read very heavily on this stuff. It's your mind that we're talking about.
You also want to make sure you get the real thing. That's the other thing. You want to make sure you get real LSD instead of some fake crap that, who knows what that is. All right.
The real stuff's scary enough.
Well, it's not necessarily scary, but anyway, that's another story. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Sources are confirming your dog died earlier today, and we're all really sorry you had to find out about it like this, buddy. Though it's a lousy thing to have to learn from an online web video, and even shittier to hear from a cold, hardened newsman's voice that you can't put a face to, your pet passed away in his sleep while you went out today, and we understand how shocked you must be right now. Sources added that there are many local shelters with animals in need of a good home, though we understand that no dog can ever truly replace the one you just lost. I lost a dog once, but my mom was the one who told me about it, and she was quite the comfort. In this week's op-ed pages, Pantene CEO Marcus Russo laments feeling like the only one who gives a shit about rich, lustrous hair. In other news, a study finds that newborn infants can tell if their parents are losers. A man who just assembled a desk is unsure how he has every screw left over. And Jeff Beck is lured into a dark alley with the old guitar pick on a string trick. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us even in these remaining moments. We have enough time for you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, you've got Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
Mark, we are in the final moments of the fundraiser for hope.freetalklive.com. We're trying to round out the last several $1,000s that needs to be raised to finish up, to button up the new orphanage that's being built in Jinja, Uganda for about 40-something children.
Yep, 40-something kids, and we just want to get them a place to, put their head on a real pillow and take a bathe, and then head off to school. Maybe another plot of land where they can grow some vegetables. The land's been given to them, putting the building on it so that they can have a roof for their heads. That's what we've been doing here. The listeners have been
listeners like you have been donating over the last several months. When did we start this? Early summer?
I think probably early summer, maybe late spring.
And you've been raising money stage after stage, so first floor, second floor, roof, the whole
right.
The whole
I want to see progress and things happening. At this point, we've got a roof on the building, and they're living in it.
Right, you're going to run electricity now, and things like that.
Plaster the walls, put in piping, all that stuff. I can't tell you exactly how much we need at this point. I did do some numbers on Friday, but I've received some donations since then. I know we're still short of the goal. I'd say we're hundreds of dollars away.
Wow.
So if you want to help me wrap this up, I think it's the high hundreds. It's just a guess, though. You want to help me wrap this up, go to hope.freetalklive.com. If we go over the budget, I'll just send it to them. They'll have a little party.
Big party.
Last time they had a party, they had rice and fish and handed out used shoes. That's what a party's like.
That's a good time in
Jinja, Uganda. So if you're feeling kind of, like your life is good because these orphans consider rice and fish and some used shoes a party, go to hope.freetalklive.com. You'll get your donation matched twice, once by getsell411.com and once by jax.io.
It's great. Hope.freetalklive.com. To the phones, to the fun. Let's talk to Pat. He's calling from Thunder Bay, Michigan. Hello, Pat.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
I was calling to comment on one of your previous callers and the lysergic acid he was talking about.
Yeah.
It is a natural occurring fungus that grows on rye. And you guys were right. It's not something you want to do when you're in a wrong frame of mind. And one thing I might add, if you want to go on a trip, you better have a trip guide.
Yes, that's good advice. I'm glad you called to suggest that. Why? Tell listeners why that's important.
Well, because you're going in unknown territory. It's kind of like driving or jumping on the river without a map,
Yeah, the sitter is...
And I would say it's not a mind-altering drug. It's a mind-expanding drug.
That's an excellent way to put it. You're going to get into other areas of your mind that you normally wouldn't be able to access, basically.
Yeah, exactly. You're opening way dusty cupboards, and you don't know what's up in there.
So the idea would be to have somebody who has experience with LSD, not just, you don't just want to call up some mom or whoever, and have them sit with you because they might freak out. So you want to have somebody.
Right. Yeah, you want to have somebody who's been down this road before. I mean, I'm not quite old enough to have hung out with Timothy Leary, but I probably hung out with some of his proteges back in the day.
Right on. So what other recommendations do you have?
Well, let me think.
So set and setting. I didn't really touch on that too much. I did talk about the mental, status that you want to be. You don't want to be in an angry place. You don't want to be in a fearful place because those could be amplified.
Right. And you don't want to be in like a populous place. I mean, the woods is a very good place.
You don't want to be at work packing apples.
I've heard of some people having good times in graveyards. I've heard of some people having bad times in graveyards.
Like I was going to say, unless you're afraid of the woods or afraid of the graveyard, you don't want to go there. But
if you're a Puritan.
But if you're in tune with nature, it just brings the harmony right there to you.
So set and setting is kind of what we're talking about here. Being in a place that for you is comfortable. Being around people that for you are comfortable. If you're in a strange place, you don't want to do psychedelics. If you are in a place where you could encounter the police, or something else or someone else that would be unpleasant, you don't want to do psychedelics. And also make sure you block off enough time. This is a commitment, and that's one of the kind of the difficulties of LSD sometimes is if you're having a bad time, you got to ride it out because there's no there's no way to get through it besides getting through it, and LSD can last for many hours.
It's been a long time since I've done it, but I do remember a term we called the grungies.
The grungies?
For one thing, you're not. At sunrise, you pretty much fall down, but you wake up the next day just feeling so filthy. The first thing you want is a shower.
It's delightful.
I don't know if I've ever experienced that.
Like I said, it's been a long time, but I do remember that.
The Grungies is a comedy show based on the Monkees, but the people in it were Seattle rockers from the 90s.
The grunge scene.
Yeah. Hey, we're the Grungies. That's cute. People say we're dirty and mean.
No, they're probably right.
Pat, thanks for the suggestions. Thank you for the advice. I appreciate your call tonight, man.
All right, good. Have a good night, boys.
That's Pat in Thunder Bay. Words of wisdom from somebody who sounds like he was experienced at that kind of thing. So again, arrowhead.org. If you're thinking about whether it's LSD or any drug, if you're interested in doing some sort of drug, whether it's illegal
stop and think,
or whether it's a legal drug that you've gotten a hold of. There's a lot of information out there. Thank goodness we live in the information age now. You don't have to trust your school buddies and whatever information they're giving you. You don't have to trust the prohibitionists and the lies that they're telling. You can go and you can get honest information about these things, and there's a lot of it out there to be absorbed. So do your due diligence, look into this stuff, and learn about it. And as I was saying, make sure it's the real deal. Now that's easier said than done because the average person doesn't have an LSD testing kit at home. So what do? Well, you shouldn't just trust the word of your dealer unless you know this person and you believe that they have a solid source and you have a good history with this individual. There are actually testing facilities out there. Arrowhead, or not Arrowhead, it's Ecstasy Data. That's the website. I know, misleading names, Ecstasy Data, you think it's only ecstasy. They'll actually test LSD. You can send them a piece of acid, and they will run it through their gas chromatograph spectrometer or whatever it is that they use, and they will tell you whether or not it is the real deal. There are some testing kits that you can purchase that will kind of tell you if you're dealing with a psychedelic, but it won't necessarily tell you that it's LSD versus DMT versus these other things.
It seems like important information.
So it'll get you closer. You'll know at the very least whether it's fake and not a psychedelic at all. And the good news is the darknet marketplaces,
which are good news,
which are they're not doing well these days. Like, they've been being taken down by the governments.
Are you telling me that the government is winning the war on drugs?
No, of course not.
Okay.
They'll always lose the war on drugs. But it's, there's been a setback, I would say, in the darknet marketplaces. But the good news is, if you can find an operating darknet market, and I think Dream Market is still operating, then that's the best way to get things like LSD, which on the street are generally, there's a good chance you're dealing with something fake. There's, I don't know, 8 out of 10 chance, 9 out of 10 chance. It's almost a lot of times not what it's advertised as when you're buying things like psychedelics from street dealers. But when you're dealing with the online darknet marketplaces, you've got open competition in drug sales. And so you've got vendors from around the world, because LSD is, on blotter paper is very, very small. It's easy to ship that. It doesn't have any real noticeable scent to it. It doesn't have any bulk to it. It could be shipped in the pages of a book. There's all kinds of ways to, to conceal the shipment of that, even through international shipments. And so you've got people in the Netherlands where this stuff is really real and is being made in, good laboratories. We were just sharing with you a story from Vice that Norway is actually looking to relax punishment for possession. So you're probably going to see more LSD coming out of Norway in the future. And so getting it through the darknet marketplaces, if you're going to take something without having tested it before you take it, if it comes from a reliable vendor with good feedback on a darknet marketplace, odds are good it's the real deal. Odds are good that you're getting real LSD in that case. But again, take the caller's suggestion. Make sure you're doing it for the first time with somebody who knows what they're doing, who's done it before, if you're going to get into this. And do your research first.
I wouldn't take any chances.
Erowid.org, EROWID.org. Great place to go and learn more about it. It's been Ian, Johnny, Ray, and Mark in the studio, and we'll see you online between now and then over at freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, October 22nd, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.04 per ounce.